All right, welcome to the Blessed Beast Live Weekend Syndicated Show. My name is Marcus Sullivan on Instagram at Marcus Sullivan Live. This is the segment where we talk to dope people who are doing dope things so that you can find out about them. Want more content? Go to the .com, blessedbeats.com, blessedbeats.com, or follow us on the IG at Blessed Beats Live. Remember, Beats is spelled with the Z, B-E-A-T-Z. Back like she never left. Got a gospel recording artist, woman of God, wife, mother in the building, Afton Tutson. How you doing?
I am doing great. How are you, Marcus?
I'm doing so good. So, like I said, back like you never left before. What they don't know, we done sat here and we've talked before. You got an extraordinary story, and I just kind of want people to get to know you for the gospel artist that you are, for the person that you are. Just kind of hear your heart. So, man, for my audience that's never met you, introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Afton Tutson. I was born and raised in the Houston area. I've been singing since I was a very small child, probably 6 or 7 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm a PK. Means I grew up in the church.
I was going to say, for those people watching, they don't know what a PK is. What's a PK?
A preacher's kid.
Okay. All right, so watch this. You had to say that, but what's the what's so special about being PK? Stereotypes, what is it?
They say that preachers' kids and teachers' kids are the worst ones.
Yeah, they the bad ones. It's because we grew up in the church. Parents was always there. So the first time you got to experience a little bit of the world, it went down. So after you a preacher's kid, go ahead.
Yes, I'm a preacher's kid, but now I'm a grown-up. I'm a wife, a mother of 4 beautiful children, and my newest title, I'm a gospel recording artist.
Now, you said that like the newest title, but you've been doing gospel for a long time.
A long time.
All right, so take us back into the early days, childhood days,
yes,
of doing it.
So if you're a PK, you know what that means. Every time the church opened, you were there.
Yeah.
If no one else was there, you were there. So what it provided for my brothers and I was very great training. Mm-hmm. We're not afraid to stand up and speak, sing anywhere because of it. Mm-hmm. And so I can truly say that my voice was discovered in the church, but mainly by my brother.
Your older brother.
My older brother, Rory.
Tell us about that moment when and then it's just so funny right now because no matter where your career goes, you're going to have that brother like, I discovered her.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us that. How did that happen?
So I had to talk about the fact that we were raised in the church to make this make sense. So we were at home. Mm-hmm. And we were playing. My brothers and I have 2 brothers, one older, one younger, Rory and Jason. Mm-hmm. We were at home and we were playing church. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. But we were. And so that is how my voice was first discovered, actually. We were playing church. And, of course, my older brother, Rory, being the oldest, he was delegating. Okay, you're going to do the scripture. Yeah. You're going to pray. Yeah. Then you're going to give us a song.
Yeah.
So I was just repeating what I did at church, and I believe the song was, Oh, How I Love Jesus.
Uh-oh. Everybody, you know what? Wait. This is the Blessed Beast Show. Can you give me just a little bit of it?
Yes.
All right, give me a little bit of it.
My brother pointed to me and he said, all right, now sing. And I remember singing, Oh, how I love Jesus. And my brother runs out of the room.
Wow. I almost ran out of the room right now. What happened? He runs out of the room, and then what happens?
He runs out of the room, and I'm like, gosh, that must have sounded horrible. And so I'm like, what did I do? Because I'm still a little kid, like young child. And I hear, Mama. And he brought my mom, and it's like, my mom's like watching TV or having her me time as parents. We know how.
Yeah.
She was like, what, boy? And he was like, Mama, you got to come hear her. And my mom came in there, and she was like, what's going on? And he's like, do it again. And I'm just like, so confused. And so I sing the song again, and my mom goes, that ain't for real.
Wow. Could you see it in her face? Well, you probably couldn't tell right there.
She said no little girl sings like that. And she didn't mean it in a discouraging way. She thought we were playing. And we were playing.
Right.
But my brother didn't give up. He pulled the musician when we got to church, and he was like, "You need to hear her sing." And
you were how old at this moment?
6, 7 years old.
Wow.
Really young, super young.
Wow.
Too young to really know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But the musician, I do remember the musician play, and I was very shy.
Mm-hmm.
Very shy. I mean, I talked about how we got.
Are you shy today?
Yes.
You're still shy. Okay.
I'm an introvert.
Yeah, you know what? I am too. Go for
Yes,
it.
I am. But I remember her name was Sue. Sister Sue Harris. She played, and we had a couple of musicians that played for the kids. Sister Geraldine Jackson, Sister Sue Harris, but Sister Sue Harris cried when
you started singing.
Yes. And I was a little girl, and she just hugged me, and I was still, like, mega confused. I was like, I couldn't get, because I was a kid, so I couldn't get in my mind why they were crying and why they were so emotional. So for my dad's next appreciation service, she said, because I am a daddy's girl to the heart. I was the only girl. And they were like, we have the perfect thing in mind. We want you to sing. I was going to surprise my dad, and and I was terrified. Oh,
Dad's the preacher.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Dad's the preacher, and I was terrified. I'm like, oh, these people are gonna be. That's the thing I did remember about growing up in the Baptist church.
Yeah.
Those appreciation services were like rolling out the red carpet. All the most important people would be there. I was like, I can't do it, And they kept trying to get me to get in the choir loft and sing. And I said, I cannot get up there. So what they did.
This is with the grown people.
Yes. I was a little.
You girl. 6 and they grown.
I was probably 7 by then. I was at least 7. Yeah. When this happened. And they said, I'll tell you what we'll do then. We won't make you get up there. They brought me through a side door. And so it was like I came out with the mic singing, "Oh, How I Love Jesus," from a side door.
You leading.
That's all I can handle. That is all I can handle.
I love it. This is the Blessed Week Live show. After gospel artist in here telling us her story, her journey of how did she get to where she is. Fast forward, you turn into a teenager.
Yes.
You got middle school, you got high school, you got peers, you got friends, you want to have fun. How did the PK life, this new God-given gift, and being a young adult change you?
So by the time I became a teenager, I was singing in the adult choir by then. The gift was very strong as a teenager. I actually, my musician at the time, Patrice Ward, started taking me, and I don't know, this was a tween because I was 11 when she took me for my first traveling singing engagement. I was 11, and I remember that because I did a song called Hope, and then I actually did a speech. From God's Trombones, the prodigal son.
You know what's so funny is I could barely remember my Easter speech. Go ahead.
I remember this because my mom actually helped me prepare for it. My mom is a great speaker, and she was into speech and drama when that was her thing when she was growing up. So she was like drilling into me how to say it. I could sing, but that I had to definitely be trained on. But I do remember the pastor when I was done saying, "How old are you?" And I was just like 11. And he told, the congregation, he was like, "Remember her. You will see her again one day." It was so dramatic.
Wow.
And so my musician explained to me why she was taking me. She wanted to build up my confidence and let me see that I truly had a gift.
Wow.
So if not for the church that I grew up at a church in Angleton. My dad pastored in Angleton out in the country.
If you in Texas, listen, that's south of Houston. That's the country. That's the real country.
They say it's the country, but let me tell you, those were the kindest, sweetest, most educated people out there, and they can cook.
Oh, I thought you was going to say something else. They can cook, okay.
They can cook, y'all. Best barbecue, best everything that you ever want. They're just special. They'll always be near and dear to my heart because they really gave me the confidence. Whatever you see today, it was built by them. Yeah. Definitely.
Let's talk about you today.
All right.
All right. So you become this adult, And I want to say I first heard of you. I want to say it was pandemic or right before the pandemic, and it had to be Grace of God because I still don't even remember how we crossed paths. But I heard it. I think I played one of your early songs on the show. I remember this. But all right. So you morph into adulthood. When did you realize that this could be a career?
I didn't actually.
Nice.
The first song that you played was my first single, and it was called "Run."
That's right. Wait, I gotta say this. God had his hands on you then because you just said something golden. Your first song. And I'm telling you, I still don't even remember how, but your first song got onto this show, which is a national show. How many artists does that, right? All right, Run. Tell us about Run. Tell us about Run.
December 2019, I was getting ready for church. I was about to lead a song at church. But my heart was so heavy, Marcus. I had just seen my older brother for the holidays. Mm-hmm. And this is the same brother that discovered me. Bubbly personality. He probably would want me to use another word. Just the life of the party type of guy.
Yeah.
But this time, when he came to see us, we all knew something was different. Something was off. My brother is a veteran. He served in the Marine Corps. And he did 3 tours in Iraq. He was the first group that went to Iraq. It's just a blessing that he's still with us, honestly, because of all of that.
He went through a lot,
He's been through a lot.
Yeah.
And he never seemed like it affected him until, like, this one time I saw him. Mm-hmm. And he was so different. Like, he was very mean, very cross, like, bad mood, Mm-hmm. And he never snapped out of it, and we were like, what's going on, and
you think it was the effects of the...
Definitely.
Yeah.
And my sister-in-law did share with me, he's suffering from PTSD. He doesn't sleep much, and so how are we all when we don't sleep?
Exactly.
Cranky, and so it really hurt my heart. And I guess I was so used to leaning on him as the little sister. Mm-hmm. It left me just feeling lost. Like, what can I do? And the thing that I knew that I could do for him was pray for him.
Okay.
So.
He's a believer?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
So I told God, I said, I'm going to just stand in the gap for him, and I'm going to pray for him. And, I prayed hard for him. I mean, with tears, y'all. And this song, the words of this song started coming to me for Run. And it was like if I were him and I needed to speak to God and say, God, I'm going through something, but I believe in you. I know you're the answer. I'm just having a hard time connecting with you right now.
What are some of the words to Run?
So Run is written from Isaiah chapter 40. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. The part that jumped out was when it said even the young men would grow weary. And I'm looking at it, Lord. So first I went to the word, and then I prayed. And so that's why the words of this song come from that part of the Bible. But the words say, Lord, help me to run this race. For thou is the kingdom, power, and glory. You deserve my worship. And it's like, that was the part that really, you deserve it.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time. I know I need to give it to you. And it said, I give you my praise. And, it said, I'm not perfect, but I was made to worship.
Yeah.
To give you the glory, to magnify your name. And so.
I got chills right there, man.
The part that really jumped out at me was the part that said, at times I get weary, but I can feel you near me, telling me to run this way.
God gave you all of the lyrics right
all
then.
All of the lyrics. Gave me the melody. I'm very careful to say, yes, I'm a songwriter. I used to be big into poetry when I was a teenager. I started to notice I had a gift with writing, because, my poems would often get submitted by my teachers to, the fine arts, all those things that they do in grade school. And so I loved writing. And so, but I absolutely have to give 100% credit to God. God gifted me with the lyrics and the melody of this song.
Did this song, was pandemic going on yet?
So funny thing is, we knew nothing about coronavirus when God gave me this song, but it would be used at that time.
The timing of that joint. Yes. That's why I asked that, yes.
No. How could we know?
Yeah.
It was December 2019. And,
just a few months before.
Yeah. But it was very useful for, I had one of my brothers-in-laws, they had a situation where their family members were hospitalized. And, at that time, they were separating family members. They were limiting who could go in. There was even a situation where a husband and wife, the husband was in the hospital, wife couldn't come. Imagine that.
No, because I remember, fast forward a little bit, April of 2020, I broke my arm. And I literally, my elbow was into my shoulder blade, and I'm in the ER by myself. Yeah, that was crazy. But go ahead.
And so you asked me when I knew that, this may be a gift. I did receive feedback from that family on how the song helped carry them through. I also received feedback from some high school students who were having a hard time dealing with the fact that, okay, I can't say goodbye to my friends. I can't do all of the things that I looked forward to doing my senior year won't happen for me.
Man, what's so different about this and why I got chills hearing this is because as a radio personality, a lot of artists will come in here and it's about the big hit. It's about the Billboard charts. It's about the Stellar Awards, the Grammy Awards, Dove Awards. You put out a song that you're telling us it really changed people's lives, and you wasn't even worried about no charts. And
No. Still to this day, I'm not.
Wow, bro.
Still to this day, I'm not. Like I said, like we mentioned, I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
Being at all of those things require you to be exposed among people all of the time.
Yeah.
If that's what it comes to, then so be it.
Yeah.
But not for me. It's not for me. Thankfully, I had parents who raised us to already have an identity. Already, I'm Afton. I was Thompson then. I'm Afton Tutson. Like, I didn't need anything else.
Right.
So it's definitely, people who know me know that about me. I really had a hard time with the title gospel artist.
Wow.
Because I'm like, I don't want anyone to think I've changed. I don't want anyone to think that, I've turned into that.
What would be suitable? If not gospel artist, or I don't know.
First and foremost, if you go to my Facebook page, the first thing that you will see, servant of God. Servant of God.
Hey, yeah.
Actually heard a sermon recently, and the pastor was saying, how do you introduce yourself? Because it says a lot about who you are and what you represent.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's on my page? It really got to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, because if it doesn't say servant of God, I'm changing it right now.
Okay. I was thinking about y'all should start saying that, but then I just thought about when you were saying that, I'm thinking to myself, Marcus, what's on your page? And on my Instagram page, it says follower of Christ.
Okay.
So we're in the same boat. We're good. We're good. All right. So pandemic is going. This song is blessing people even more so than a radio record or billboards or Grammys or red carpets, but you really making a difference out in the world. You got a new song out that's put you in arenas you never even thought about, right? What song is that? Let's talk about that song. And let's just talk about how that thing, and I'm going to let you tell it, happened.
So let me tell you that at the beginning of this year, I really went down in deep meditation and prayer, and I told the Lord, if you will really intend for me, I've been singing all my life, but do you intend for me to be an artist? If you do, please, I'm taking my hand off.
Wow.
And you're going to drive. Of course, God's been driving it all along, but I intentionally took my hand off and said, Lord, then you drive this and you show me where you need this gift. Amazing things have happened since then. Like things, I'm going to share with you a couple, but the last song that I released was called Wings. That song is written from Psalm 91. Ironically, Psalm 91 mentions a plague. It mentions war. Everything that we are going through now. And
Holy Spirit just gave you Psalm 91?
Holy Spirit, I say, troubled me for this song. It wasn't easy. My husband can tell you, he thought I was losing my entire mind.
Yeah.
I kept having a dream about angel wings flapping out in the middle of like the forest. Strangest thing. But what I remembered about these wings were the colors. Beautiful, iridescent. They were humongous, and all I would hear when I would lie down is flapping, like sheets on a clothesline. Like remember when your grandmother used to do that?
I remember them days.
And I was like, "What is this, God?" Like, and I was begging God, "Show me, like, what is this?"
Was this the song, very next song after Run?
No.
Okay.
After Run, we did the Lord's Prayer. We did a remake of the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
I sing in weddings.
Yeah.
I've been singing in weddings since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And the Lord's Prayer was the first song that I did in a wedding. So
But Wings.
then I did a song called Amen that I wrote with my son. He was 6 at that time.
Okay.
So, and then Wings came about.
Okay.
And so Wings, it's about God's protection. And I kept hearing the verse that my brother did in his voice. And I was like, I think you're supposed to sing this song with me because I keep hearing this verse that you're singing.
Yeah.
And so I emailed it to him, and he flew down because he doesn't live in Houston. He flew down here. We did it one weekend. And when my producer perfected it, it came out, and that was the song.
Wait.
That was the song.
Can you tell us some of the lyrics of it? You don't have to sing them, but just some of the lyrics of it.
So the song starts off and says, I know the plans for you. That's what you said. I read it in your word. Said you would be here to guide me through. Be my protection, my shelter from all harm. And it says, this is line is repeated through the song, I won't fear, you are here. And so that can be applied to every aspect of the song, everything that you're afraid of.
Yeah.
It's like the hook says, be my protection, cover me with your wings. They say that's the benefit of being a child of the King. And so,
servant of God.
Servant of God.
Afton Tutson here. Then it happened.
It happened.
It happened. What is the it, and how did it happen?
So it happened in the most peculiar way. I talked to you about radio when I first met you.
I remember.
And there was a gentleman on Facebook saying, hey, I've been interested in it. He said, I'm looking for a voice to help me out on radio. I've had 150 entries and I haven't heard the voice yet. And I was thinking to myself,
it's a regular person.
Surely.
Yeah.
My entry won't make a difference. Out of 150?
Yeah.
He said, I haven't heard it, but I'll know it when I hear it. So not because remember, I'm an introvert.
Okay.
But I do listen to my sermons in the morning every day.
Okay.
And Pastor Tony Evans, thank you, Pastor Evans. This particular sermon, Tony Evans was like, you can't ask God for a job and you don't fill out an application. And he was talking about faith. And I was like, I'm going to send, the sermon, empowered me. And I'm like, I'm going to send it. I'm going to do it. Like, what could it hurt? Mine will just float with the other 150.
You was going to sing, or?
I didn't sing. I spoke. I did.
Shut up.
I sent in a clip of me saying a scripture. Commit to the Lord whatever you do.
Bruh, you just telling me.
Yes, that is how.
Hold on, I don't want to ruin the end of this story, but when you get to this, I want y'all to remember she said she didn't sing on this. But continue going. Continue going.
The scripture that I believe it was out of Psalm or out of Proverbs. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plan. That's the clip I sent in. And I was very shocked.
Afton, just like that.
Just like that.
Straight
just
up.
talking normal, just like that. And he wrote me back. He said, "Wow, this is good." And I was like, oh, no way.
I would have been like,
way.
yeah, right, bruh.
So then this gentleman proceeds to visit my page, my Facebook page. Now, there is one of my dear church members that was always posting this song. She loved this song. It really helped her through some things. She had some tragedy in her family, and she played and she talked about her story. Well, sometime that week, she had posted it again.
Which song was it?
Wings.
Wings, yes.
And so he said, "Oh, well, you're an artist?" I told you. I wasn't even trying to submit my music.
Right.
And then he said, sometimes God does things in ways we don't understand.
Preach,
but we
man.
have to be able to recognize those opportunities when they come.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't know that he was saying the exact same thing that Pastor Evans had said in his sermon.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So it was very easy for me to surrender my will and say, okay, because I had asked God at the beginning,
Take my hands off.
I'm going to let you do it.
Yeah.
And so, because I never mentioned singing, right?
Right.
And so I was invited to be a guest on a very famous
Crazy.
gospel show.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it myself when it happened.
What show was it?
Didn't believe
What show was it?
It was the Bobby Jones Show.
Wow. And just being a servant of God. All right, so how did you get invited on this show?
So that was how I was invited.
That was
this
the voice he was looking for.
Gentleman was actually a co-host of the show.
Man.
And you talk about how we don't remember how we met. I have no idea
No
how
idea.
I became friends with
Wow.
him. He's very funny though. He always and he calls out like all of the shenanigans that church people do, and I laugh because they're true.
Yeah.
But he also gives great wisdom for up and coming artists, and I've listened to a lot of what he has said. He's actually helped me dodge some things, some traps that I would have fallen into as a new artist, not knowing. And so I really already had a lot of respect for him. He didn't know and what he said.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, well, it has to be real, because then he would be one of those people he talks about all the time, but yeah, it turned out it was the real deal.
Next thing you know, you own a flight to the Bobby Jones Gospel Show, BET legend. Man, he's a legend.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
And so when you get there, I'm sure it's not live, or it's taping. What is it?
It's filming.
Okay, it was tape. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get there, how was the experience? Because you coming from, man, I'm just doing this for people. Now I'm on a national show.
Mm-hmm. It was the most terrifying experience of my life.
Just because you was an introvert.
No, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
A wonderful experience, especially Kim Burrell was there that day.
She's been on the show. That's the homie.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, just her voice is just. I used to sing jazz actually in high school in a jazz choir, and I was just like, just so
The
excited.
queen,
I
yes.
ran to the front of the stage,
Yeah.
to be down there. Yes, her voice. She definitely has a beautiful gift.
She
but
one of the goats. Yeah.
the experience overall, everyone was so professional and kind, and they really made you feel like royalty.
I got to say this. I made Kim Burrell freestyle rap on the Blessed Be Show from that chair you sitting there. Yeah, I did. All right, see, I just had to say that because now I want somebody to go Google or YouTube the Blessed Be Show with Kim Burrell. She raps Tupac on the end of the show. I real talk.
What?
Yeah, for sure. But go for it.
So, yes, at this show, I met so many great artists. We got to hear, how God is doing the same thing with all of us in different ways, but for the same purpose, for the same outcome. And so it's a very humbling experience, but it was just like, I was just thanking God. I was so glad that I got to meet Bobby Jones and hear his wisdom. He shared so much wisdom with us.
Yeah.
And, we learned a lot in that day, especially as up and coming emerging artists on, okay, when you're invited somewhere, you need to be on time.
Yeah.
You need to dress appropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, things that you would think that we all know.
Right.
But he didn't let you make it if you
he
didn't let you make it. But you can tell why he puts out such a great product. And he had, like I said, he had so much wisdom, and I'm so grateful that someone has fought for gospel music to stay relevant all these years.
For sure.
And that, if you don't know that about him, please read up on him. A lot of the gospel artists that you now, know and love wouldn't be around if there's always someone that's fighting for you. So I have such a great appreciation for him. He has an amazing staff. All of the hosts, co-hosts that I met, they're just outstanding. Okay. It was a great experience.
So hold that DVD up, or what is that again? What's in that?
This came in the mail, and this was just the culmination of what God has done for me this year. When I opened this up, it's probably got all my tears inside. My name's on here.
They showed you some love.
They showed great love. My brother's name is on here. Can you see?
Yeah, they can see it.
And then it gives you kind of, the history of Dr. Jones and his contributions to gospel music. But
so moving forward, I got to ask this and I know you're serving a God, but God don't just bless people like that. I'm sorry. Yes, he do. I'm tripping. He do. Right? You just got to believe. But in your situation, your steps are definitely ordered, right?
Yes. But I can truly say that what you see now was prophesied by multiple church members. I had a family member that I had just met like 3 years ago, and she held my hand and she prayed and she said, "Baby, you are going to go places you've never imagined. Yeah. You will sing in front of people you've never thought." And I had to call her and just say, "Thank you. I don't know what you saw." She heard the Lord's Prayer. The songs, I don't think Wings was even out yet. She heard it and she was so excited. I was very blessed to have people like that along my pathway to say, "Oh, this gift will make room for you and put you before a great." I've been told that all of my life. But it is very important for you to believe that it can happen. Because if you don't believe that it can happen, you won't make yourself out to be a liar, right? So if I say, "Oh, I can't do that, that'll never happen," I'm not going to position myself for the blessing because I so want to be right that, "Oh, it could never happen." I never thought that it couldn't happen. I just didn't make becoming an artist or having that title, I didn't make that my focal point. I've been singing all of this time. I've used my gift for the Lord, and I've left it up to him what he wanted to do with it.
I gotta say this for you. Hearing your story and knowing how your steps have been ordered that way, and I like how you just put that, like, you're not down and, I don't want to be no artist. Like, you're not even on that. You just like, I'm just doing what I'm called to do. And I feel like if you just stay that course, it's going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're going to be like that, like your prophecy said, right? You'll be on more and more stages, and it'll feel like, or you'll be recognized as this artist, right? And I think as long as you continue to keep that in your heart, like, I'm just doing, hey, y'all call me what you want to, right? I think it's just going to, like...
as long as you know I'm a servant of God.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But, let me tell you what has helped me. What has helped me is removing all distractions. All distractions. Making, y'all, until you really take inventory over your life, you don't realize how many things, will come between your time with your father.
This is good.
Y'all, TV shows. I'm talking about
Netflix binge watching.
Places you don't need to be going.
For sure. Go there.
Going with. Netflix binge watching stuff that is not going to add any value to your life or your purpose. And so that was the reason why I asked God, because I didn't have the peace that I was used to. And I said, what's in the way of us? And so I did start to remove, and it was an experience. I was very spiritually fragile at that time. I didn't know what was going on. But I can tell you it was worth it because now it's like my purpose has changed. I am an introvert by nature. I've always been like off to myself. But what has helped me come out of that is to know that the gift was never about me. It was given to me, but it's not for me.
100%. Yeah.
And so that in itself is freeing because, of course, I've been singing for 30 plus years, but I still get nervous. But now it's kind of like I'm not nervous about, okay, will they like it? I want to make sure that people are getting what God has sent through me to give to them. So that means in order for me to be able to do that, I have to stay connected to him. I can't feel, it's just like my husband's a personal trainer. He's big on nutrition and what we eat. Well, you have to feed yourself spiritually.
Talk about it, yeah.
I mean, if it's junk in, it's junk out.
Ooh.
And so that's that
PK talk right there. Yeah.
You know, I'm a PK, but, you know, this is my personal experience with God. And so I've been through church hurt. Was there a time that I wasn't singing? Absolutely. I was deeply wounded in the church. Yeah. Deeply. But God had a way of bringing me back full circle and forward and like I never left onto my purpose.
Listen, after your first song hit national radio, you wasn't trying to even do that. You start blessing people with the song, and it never had to hit radio and do crazy numbers, and you steps are ordered to the point where you on a legendary show. And I want to say I know the answer, but what's in the works? I ain't gonna say what's next. What's in the works for you?
I do have a new song that will be coming out soon.
Okay.
This one I really love. It's called Walk With Me. It was inspired by my great-grandmother. Walk With Me was her favorite song, the traditional Walk With Me.
Yeah. I was about to try to sing.
Yeah.
No. You got
it. The words are similar, but it's a modern-day version that we can use. We have so much that we're up against, you know, and it inspired me to think some of the battles that we face are nothing like what our grandparents, great-grandparents had to deal with. And I'm like, if this was her favorite song, then what can I learn from this? Yeah. This is a battle cry, you know, really. And the song, when you see the album cover, you can tell it's a song for when you're going through hard times.
Is it out yet?
It's coming out soon.
All right, so that's a good moment to say, listen, run, wings, go back, go do your research on them, go download those songs. People can go get those, right? Where they can get where?
I'm on all streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify.
Spell your name so they'll know how to go get those.
AFTON Tutson.
And for you, I got to ask you this, because most interviews just depend on the generation of the person I'm interviewing. Where's your main audience? Is it Facebook, Instagram, TikTok? Where's your audience at?
I feel like my main audience is definitely Facebook, but
I would say so because of gospel. It's just gospel, right? I mean, not the gospel is not on everything else, but that's where a lot of the gospel people are on Facebook. So, yeah, for sure.
Well, it's on Facebook because I started out on Facebook before I became an artist. So, you know, and like we talked about, I was only planning to do the one song. It wasn't going to be a whole thing like it is now. So, but we are trying to get going on the other platforms on Instagram. I do have a website. You can find all of the links to my music there. It's my first name, Afton, AFTON, last name, Tutson.com.
There you go.
Look forward to connecting with you.
All right, guys, go to blessbeats.com. Get this full thing shared, man. Let it bless somebody else, man. Stick and stay. More of your favorites along the way. This is the Blessed Beats Show.